Hi guys, my name is Kelly and I'm 26 years old and I'm on a new journey through fitness. I have decided to do my very first fitness show and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be competing in figure. We haven't 100% decided that yet, but this is my journey. And let me backtrack a little bit about my history. I started off as a child in gymnastics and dance, and I was a gymnast for about 10, 11 years, give or take, and I was a dancer for 20 years, that was my major passion. I was good at gymnastics maybe at a younger age because I was progressed through the levels really quick when I was really young, but it kind of plateaued out and I wasn't really like the most athletic in that department. I had a lot of grace, but I wasn't really like super strong, and I wasn't a girl who could just fly through the bars. That just was not my strong point. And I was really good on things like beam and floor in the artistic side because I was just super flexible, and dancing was definitely where I excelled. And at the place I went to in Texas, I got to do dance and gymnastics together. It was a requirement, which was a blessing because when I fell out of gymnastics, dance was my fallback. That's what I fell back on. And I got to keep it up until we decided to move to Oklahoma. And then we had a hard time kind of figuring out where I was going to go. And I ended up pursuing more of the ballet side. So I went to Ballet Oklahoma and I danced there for all of my high school duration, and then I also got to have the privilege of going to a performing arts high school, and I was a dance major there, and that was really fun and interesting because I think it really prepped me for college. So after high school, I went on to the University of Central Oklahoma, where I was a dance performance major, and I got to dance with a company for 2 years. Now, my freshman year, I was not a part of the company, but my sophomore and junior year, I was. And why I say sophomore and junior is because I did not finish college. I took a turn for the worst, which is like the ultimate, this is like something no dancer wants to know. Like, I had really bad hips, and I was born with something called congenital hip dysplasia. And that was kind of a bummer. I didn't really know I had it when I was younger. They just would call it like snapping hip syndrome, and they'd be like, oh, she's just flexible, that's just part of it. Well, they didn't catch it when I was a baby, when I was born, when they, move and manipulate you to see if you have like hip dysplasia. They didn't find it then. They found it when I was like 19 or 20, and I was supposed to have a procedure done, which was just supposed to fix the labrum in my hip and just the tears and like repair it, which is a really easy surgery compared to the one that I'm about to tell you that I got. So that surgery is an easy recovery. It's outpatient. You don't have to worry about it. Well, I waited too long and my hip got really bad to the point where I wasn't able walking. I was on crutches before I even had my hip surgery. And I had a valgus osteotomy, which means they took my hip bone that was sliding out of socket. That's what dysplasia is. It's just like it's slipping out. And they cut my femur in half and they put it back inside the socket. And when they did that, then they had to secure it by drilling a hole and putting a rod in and screwing it in place. So I have a rod in my leg, and I did have screws, but those were removed. And I was hospitalized for about a week post-surgery, because they want to really, it's a big bone surgery. They're drilling inside your bone. It's probably one of the biggest bone surgeries. So that all happened. And I thought, I'm going back to dance. I'm gonna get back in this. Well, that didn't happen. I tried, but I wasn't able to do a lot of jumping exercises where you like jump onto your leg, or standing on my leg for a long period of time, which is, you can't really do that as a dancer. You have to turn and be stable on a single leg. And that was my good turning leg. And I couldn't leap anymore, couldn't jump. it was just too painful. It was like needles, just stabbing you up into your hip, and it was just not comfortable. So after like a year of battling myself and lots of tears, I decided dance was just done. I was done with it. Well, after that happened, I fell off the bandwagon. I wasn't dancing anymore. I was like discovering new foods that I didn't get to eat while I was a dancer, or I didn't really think about eating because I was so busy. So I was eating a lot more, wasn't exercising. Well, I blew up. I gained I don't know, a lot. I would say 40 plus pounds. I think where I last weighed myself was a few years ago. Like 2 years ago, I was 180 pounds. And I could have been more than that. I mean, I might have been all the way up to 190 pounds, which is heavy for 5'7". And it was just hard. So I was sitting there for a while, like a year or two, and no one would really ever say anything to me about, you're a little heavy, maybe try going to the gym or different things like that. And I did have a boyfriend who is now my husband, and he worked out a lot, and I would occasionally go with him to the gym, but it wasn't something like I did every day or every week. I'd go here and there, maybe once on the weekend with him, but I was sleeping in while he was getting up and going to the gym. It wasn't a part of my life. I would say it became a part of my life about a year and a half ago. That was about 3 years ago when I started slowly getting into it. And then about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, I was going more often, maybe 2-3 days a week. And then kind of about 6 months into my wedding, we had a wedding in February, and about 6 months before that, I really decided, okay, I need to dive in. I want to lose weight. Every bride wants to lose weight to look good in her wedding gown. And I finally dropped about 5 to 10 pounds, and I was like, oh, I feel good, and my dress fits, and then that was that. And then I really decided after our wedding, I started doing different things and doing my research, and I started doing more things like meal prepping and really being prepared on my meals, and really, being organized and timely with my meals, and started really doing my research on that. And that started helping. I mean, I started losing a few pounds here and there. And then this past summer, I decided to do an online challenge through a fitness model, Lauren Drain. And it was a 6-week challenge, and I think it was like the summer slim challenge or something like that, or something to that degree. And I started off at her challenge at like 170 pounds, and I lost 10 pounds. Now, I didn't follow her challenge exactly. I was having a hard time with her meals, and my body wasn't adapting. So my husband suggested something like carb cycling. So halfway through her challenge, I started carb cycling, and that's when I saw the huge difference. So that carb cycling is when you shock your system, and I would go 2 to 3 days with 0 carbs, or like 50 carbs below, like 50 below. And then I would have other days I'd bring carbs back in. And I did that for a few weeks, and the scale kept going down. I was like, oh, okay, this is working for me. So after 6 weeks, I was like, well, what do I do now? And I was like, well, I could keep doing this. So I decided to keep doing it a little bit. And then about a week after that, I was like, I kind of really want a trainer. And I'm from Oklahoma, and so we go to a gym here, and I've always seen this trainer in the gym, and he would train other people, and he's so nice, and we would talk occasionally, and you can tell he just knew what he was doing all the time. And I would always say to my husband, even before, like, if I ever had a trainer, I'd always want him to train me. And when we decided, my husband said, okay, well, I think we can financially do this now. And we spoke to the trainer, and we finally were like, okay, I think we're ready. And we signed up. And when I started, I was like, what am I getting myself into? It was crazy. So I think like second workout in, I was vomiting. Like I thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to cut it. Like this isn't for me. I kept thinking like, oh well, like I guess I'm never gonna lose any more weight. Like maybe I'll just hang out at 160 pounds and I'm good and I'm happy. Well, I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going, and I kept it up and I stuck with it, and I'm about 6 weeks. I think we've done 6 weeks with my trainer, and I'm on my 7th week with him. And I've lost like a solid 12 pounds with him in 6 weeks, and I couldn't be happier. He has changed my whole life. He really encourages me to, you know, be focused and driven, and that's what I needed. You know, I can be accountable for my meals and, you know, going to the gym on my own, but not going to the gym on my own and pushing myself to the limit that I needed to be pushed. You know, I can work out, and I would work out for an hour, 2 hours, even with my husband, sometimes longer than 2 hours. But this is a whole different style of working out. He has a different tempo, and he's constantly got your heart rate up, and it's just, the changes in myself have been incredible. I don't really think that I would have ever gotten this far without him. He has changed my whole life. And when I say this, before I thought I was doing so good, and I could lift heavy, and I felt strong, and I've even talked to him about this. I felt so strong, and now I'm losing weight. So some of my strength kind of backpedals, because when you're losing weight, you have a hard time. You have to build muscle, and it is a balance. And so obviously I can't lift as heavy or do as many things as I thought I could. But now I just, like, I feel like a different person. Like when I look at myself in the mirror now, I'm like, oh my God, who is this person? Like I haven't seen you look like this even since before high school, which is crazy. And I feel so good. I mean, I'm weighing in around 147 now, and I have goals of getting a little lower. But it's just been crazy. Now, those are the blessings of this. There are a lot of struggles to weight loss and fitness, and a lot of mental struggles. It's a mental battle. Like in the beginning, you have cravings, and those eventually go away slowly. But it's not the easiest. And if it were easy, everyone would do it. I know that's so cliche because you hear that all the time. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Well, it's not easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I mean, it's I don't even know. It's so much mental game. It just puts you in a whole different mental state, and you have to just be able to discipline yourself to keep pushing every day and to not fall off. And yeah, everyone's human, so sometimes you have slips, and so, you know, but if you get back on track, that's what makes it a lifestyle. And I'm just so grateful that my life has turned out this way, and I don't even know what to say, but I'm just thankful for my trainer and my husband and everyone who supported me through this, like my mother and my aunt and my sisters and my father, and it's just been great. And I am fortunately blessed, but there are a lot of downsides to the whole fitness thing. Like, there's just so much more mental game and struggle that I could totally get into with you guys, but that will have to be for another video. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm about 14 to 15 weeks into this process, and I do plan on doing a show later on, probably beginning of next season, next year sometime. And I don't know what I'm expecting because I've never done one before. You know, I plan on going and seeing a few shows before the season's over, 1 or 2 shows. But I'm just hoping that I found something that's my niche, that's meant for me to do. And I am getting my personal training license, so I should be training in the new year. And this isn't me. So anybody who watches this, I'm sorry this is so long, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Please don't give me a thumbs down. Please give me a thumbs up. I'm so new to this YouTube thing in the YouTube world, and I hope and pray that I can inspire one person, even one person, to change their life, because I literally feel like I went from drowning and I'm like living again, and it's just the most incredible. Like, I just am so blessed, and I'm just so grateful that I could do this, and I know that there's someone out there that feels the same way, and I know you can do it. So I wanted to say thank you for watching, and bye guys.